Over 15 years ago, I purchased my first piece of home gym equipment, the Powertec Power Rack with the high-low pulley, and about a year after that, I purchased my first Powertec multi-press, and little did I know that in 2024, I would be invited to the Powertec headquarters to take a walkthrough and offer suggestions about some of their pieces and look at some of the new stuff that's coming soon. This really is a dream come true for me, and it's a sign that my hard work and determination and love for the Powertec brand has paid off. This is my lovely wife who made the trip out to California with me. I would not have been able to make this trip without her help because she is a much better traveler than I am. Here's Powertec's building. Upstairs is the showroom and some offices, and down below is the warehouse. We'll be taking a tour of all this in just a second.
Get in, get the air on, call you guys, and then we shall figure out the first
I have to admit, I was a little starstruck when I saw Rob Riches for the first time after seeing him in videos for 10 years. Here's Powertec's main office space. And through there is the showroom. Here is the entrance to Powertec's showroom. And over here, you will see one of Powertec's newest products, the Belt Squat. This is just a prototype. The new design will look much different than this. This post will be smaller, this will be black. And I've had a belt squat, and you all probably know which one I'm talking about, but there are features I like about this better than the one that I had. And if you look down here, you will see additional settings, and if you look here, you will see additional settings. This product was at FIBO, and a lot of people were absolutely crazy about this belt and it being very comfortable. So what I do here is I engage the weight. This piece falls away, and this carriage slides up and down this post. If I wanted a greater range of motion, I might even take this thing out altogether because there's a bottom post right there as my final safety. For being a prototype, this feels fantastic. It feels smooth. It is so nice to have that vertical line of drive. When I first heard that Powertec was coming out with the belt squat, I didn't know if it was going to be a lever-based belt squat or one that offers a vertical line of drive. And obviously, I have my vertical line of drive here. This is great for marches, great for belt squats, and of course, it's going to be good for things like bicep curls, shrugs, rows. And I will tell you that over the years, I have experienced a fair amount of back pain, and whenever I get on the belt squat and load up some weight and get that line of drive pulling straight down, it alleviates a lot of the pressure and tension I feel in my lower back. When you're done, simply hook it back. With the other belt squat, you all know which one I'm talking about. I would have to go down like this to disengage the weight. Here, that's not an issue. This is one of Powertec's newest products, the seated calf raise. The one that they bring to the market will not look like this. The one that they bring will look much beefier. It will, of course, look black and yellow, beefier pads, but it is so nice that Powertec is bringing a seated calf raise to their product lineup. In a staff basketball game, I tore my soleus, so I understand the importance of doing straight leg calf raises as well as seated calf raises. Over here, we have two of my favorite leg machines side by side, the new compact leg sled and the new leg press. I will tell you all now, one of the things that I really like about this leg press, in addition to the super large platform, is the fact that when I lay back, my head is supported. I can think of a Cybex leg press where the back pad ended right there, so you either had to hold your head up or your head hung over the pad. Another thing that I really like about this leg press is that when I'm ready to engage the weight, I don't take my hands off of these handles. It's just a boom, flip of the thumb, and then I'm ready to go. Of course, this machine can be used for calf raises as long as plates aren't on these lower posts. If I wanted to, I could use these collars as spacers, kick the plates out, and then do calf raises even with plates on the bottom post. To get out of it, boom, I have my handle right there. Right beside it, the compact leg sled. I can't say enough good things about this machine. With all of the lower back issues that I've had, this machine has allowed me to hit my legs super hard without the fear of injuring my lower back. This new model has these additional safety settings, which were very helpful for my wife when she was rehabbing. She didn't want to go this low. She wanted to stop her movement right there, and it allowed her to do that safely. So a critique that I hear about this machine quite often is that it takes a lot of weight in order to get an effective set. And yes, it's about 50% of the actual weight loaded on the machine. That's what the real feel is. But just like, in my opinion, the greatest leg machine of all time, the Cybex squat press. That requires a lot of weight, as does this one. So we have a 1,000 pound max weight capacity over here and a 700 pound max weight capacity over here. And I, on a good day, might get 500 pounds on the leg press, and over here maybe 500 or 600 pounds. And I don't think I'll ever outgrow either machine. As much as I like being in California, I can't wait to get back to the East Coast and to get back to my equipment in my garage so I can load this thing up and have a workout. I normally work out just about every day, but now that I've been here in California, I've gone about 4 or 5 days without a true workout. And here we have the lever squat. This is one of 3 of Powertec standalone leg machines. If you want to save some space and save some money, this is a really good option. Just push that in and you're ready to go. I do like this because it feels a little bit like a pendulum squat machine. And one of the things that I started doing when I had this machine, rather than pushing straight up, I put my feet a little higher and started pushing back, which gave me more of that pendulum squat feel, and it made it feel a little easier on my lower back. Powertec is going to be bringing some attachments to the market. These are the mag style. These things feel heavy duty, very comfortable. I've featured this lat machine on my channel, and I think it's a very unique lat machine and stands out from others on the market for a few reasons. 1, it's incredibly small footprint. 2, the option to load it with plates or use the selectorized stack or a combination of the two. And the fact that this seat swivels out of the way offers a huge advantage for quite a few exercises. So for example, when I swivel this seat out of the way, I can do tricep pushdowns and bicep curls with a vertical line of drive. When I think about some of the other lat machines that are on the market, in order to do tricep pushdowns, I have to stand back in order to clear the seat. And this is pulling me forward. I don't want to be pulled forward. Instead, I want that vertical line of drive for pushdowns and for bicep curls. Another thing that's nice about this lat machine is it's not too tall. So if you have a basement, this should go in there without issue. If we head over here to the multi-system, up until this week, I had not used this machine, and it is so cool to see it in person. And I will tell you all that this section of the machine is basically the same as the multi-press. This section of the machine is basically the same thing as the lever squat. But over here, we have our curl and we have our lever pull down. And I really think this machine looks awesome. It looks beefy. This would look amazing in a spare bedroom or in a garage. And if you want to have 2 people working out at the same time, it allows you to do that. But I do get asked quite often, if I could take the multi-system or the lever gym, which machine would I take? I tell you now, I would still take the lever gym over the multi-system simply because it costs a little bit less, it has a smaller footprint, and it offers greater variety. And the reason it offers greater variety is largely because of the cable system. With that cable system, you can do quite a few more exercises than you can with this lever pull down. But I love this pressing station because it's so similar to the pressing station that's on the multi-press. The lever arms have a lower attachment site than what they do on the lever gym, which just allows your flat presses to feel more natural. Aside from the flat press, your incline press and your shoulder presses feel somewhat comparable between the multi-system and the lever gym. Over here, we see the attachments for the utility bench. 6 plate-loaded machines. So these offer a lot of variety and add a lot of versatility to the utility bench. Here, of course, we have the dip. And all of these have, for the most part, a 200-pound weight capacity. 200 pounds, 200 pounds, 200 pounds, 200 pounds on the leg extension leg curl, 450 on the new leg press attachment, and I believe 400 or 500 for the lat pull down. This is the only attachment I have not had out of all of the attachments. Y'all want to see something y'all have never seen me do? A flat press with a straight bar. One of my best friends, who actually introduced me and my wife, has this in his basement, and this is his main Powertec piece, and he loves it. It's a great quality bench press machine. Here we have the new Sissy Squat. I've done a review on this. Here we have the VKR. I've done a review on this. I absolutely love this for knee raises. These pads are thick and durable, and the knee raise on this feels as good as any knee raise I ever did in commercial gyms. I love doing dips on these handles. I prefer a narrow grip, and these dip handles give me that option. And I love doing my push-ups down here with my feet elevated. These little foot plates right here, they offer a great way to get in position. So I'm not jumping into position, I'm just stepping into position. Over here, we have the hyper crunch, basically 4 exercises in one. What I like about this is that if, for example, in my mesocycle, I'm doing back extensions, once I plateau on that exercise, or once that exercise gets stale, I can flip this to a horizontal back extension and then do that exercise until I plateau on that. And once that exercise gets stale, I can switch to glute ham raises. So a lot of versatility here. I know that there have been a lot of products coming to the marketplace that look similar to this, but Powertec has been offering this for almost 20 years. I've had mine for 4 or 5. It's holding up well, still doing great. Over here, the Roller Smith. Believe it or not, I have had 4 Powertec Roller Smith machines over the years. I've always loved this machine. This new model is very compact. As I've mentioned in my review, the bar doesn't travel very low, so if you wanted to do rows, that's not really an option. But I mainly use it for pressing exercises, and it does all of those extremely well. It has a 450-pound max weight capacity. Over here, we have the lever gym. As I've said before, if I can only have one piece of equipment, this would be it because of all the versatility and variety this machine offers. I can do calf raises, squats, pull downs, plenty of chest exercises. And as I've mentioned before, if you have this machine and you want to add a new element to your lower body training, add some squat wedges. These completely transform squats on the lever gym. They make them feel more lower back friendly, and I get greater quad engagement. When I'm done, I just put my safety pin back in. This is my first time seeing the Deluxe Functional Trainer in action. This is an awesome looking machine. Each one of these offers a 1-to-1 pulley ratio, and I love this multi-grip pull-up bar. I think, oh, by the way, that's the Streamline Utility Bench. I think out of all of the pull-up grips I've ever tried, this one right here is my absolute favorite. It's the one that's offered on their power rack. And even though I don't have a power rack right now, I do miss my power rack almost exclusively for that grip. Speaking of power racks, here's this one. I think I've had 3 or 4 Powertec power racks over the years. I really like this one because it has closer hole spacing in the bench press area to allow you to find that right fit. And it has its own ecosystem with plenty of offerings. Of course, we have this huge step-up plate, add-on weight horns, additional J-cups are available. This is for strength bands. Here you have your landmine, which can also be used for bar storage. And a lot of people are excited that other companies are putting lat pull-down machines on the back of power racks. Powertec has been doing that for 20 years, and this is a great one. 500-pound max weight capacity. Again, similar to their lat machine, you have the option to just go plate loaded, or you can use the selectorized stack. And when I think about some of those other pull down offerings offered by other companies, they don't have this. Instead, you have to buy additional rollers that go into the uprights. Here, that's not an issue. Here you also have a place where you can connect your utility bench. That way your bench is always centered and it adds additional stability to the power rack. Over here, we have the chin dip assist machine. I've had this. If you're trying to get good at pull-ups or get good at dips, this might help you get there. Over here, we have the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer. I've had this for 3 or 4 years in my garage. What I really like about this is that it fits me perfectly. So if I want to do chest presses, these uprights are not so far apart when I think about some of the other offerings where some of these newer companies are having uprights and having a cable over here and a cable over here. The uprights are so far away and the pulleys are so far away that I can't get that chest press that I want. Instead, it would be chest pressing like this. And of course, that's good for flies, but it's not good for this type of chest press that I want that mirrors more of the free motion. Here we have the Powertec Multi-Press, one of my favorite Powertec machines. I believe I've had 3 of these over the years. It is extremely versatile. It allows for decline, flat, plenty of incline positions, and overhead presses. It can even be used for shrugs as well as chest supported rows. And there's the utility bench connector right here that will allow you to use 6 different plate loaded machines. When I got my first multi-press many years ago, it made me feel like I had hammer strength equipment in my garage, but instead of just having one hammer strength machine, I had 4 or 5 different hammer strength machines, such as the decline hammer strength press, flat, incline, and shoulder press, all in this one machine. This is the Powertec half rack. I believe this is my first time seeing one of these in person. If you're short on space, this is a very good option. I do like that it has the dip handle option as well as a pull-up bar. If you need anything replaced, definitely go to Powertec's website and go to the section that's dedicated to parts. There is so much stuff in here. I haven't had to replace really any Powertec pieces since I've been buying from them, but if you need to, or if you want to upgrade some of the stuff that you have maybe on one of the older models, they'll have it available to you. There's so much stuff back here. So for example, additional pads in case you need them. Here's some of the preacher pads that are available in case you need to replace yours. And what's really cool is even some of the older pads are here. My first Powertec piece had this plastic here on the pad. I kind of missed this actually. I thought it was cool and made the product stand out, but even this is back here. And this is part of Powertec's warehouse. There are hundreds and hundreds of products ready to go when you place your order. This is one of the hallways in Powertec's headquarters. Here they have pictures of some of their old machines or older models with some of the athletes that used to represent their brand. Here is the bicep machine, which I've heard some people say they want back. Here's one of the old lever gyms where the bench stayed connected to the lever gym. Now, of course, the bench is removable, which adds increased variety and versatility to the machine. You all, I am trying to get this machine back. I've talked to the president about it. I talked to Rob about it. Even Rob wants this machine back, so I'm trying. Here's a row. Even though I'd never be able to use this machine because of my lower back, it is cool. And here was my very first Powertec product. I first heard about it on the bodybuilding.com forums. At the time, there was only Powertec and maybe one other brand that was offering a very compact power rack for a reasonable price, which also offered the high-low pulley option. And that's the one I had, the old gray one with the high-low pulley. I even had that bench, and these pieces are still going strong. Over, I guess it's been about 17 years that I had them and then sold them to make one of my moves easier. I actually missed this rack. There's something about it that just looks cool. It looks retro. It was very well made. And you all may remember I met Jay Cutler. In the picture that I had with him, I actually out-angled him. And I'm sure he's a little bit embarrassed that Home Gym Hacks and Review showed him up at one of his bodybuilding shows. But Jay used to be a rep for Powertec, and it's really cool to see his picture here with this machine that I want back, this Pec Fly. It was truly an honor to be invited to Powertec headquarters and to tour their warehouse as well as their showroom. I got a peek at some stuff that I can't talk about, but will be coming to the market very soon. And I will tell you all, it is some game-changing stuff. There's nothing on the market like it, and I'm excited for you all to see it very soon. Now that I'm home and I've had a chance to think about the new Powertec belt squat, here are my thoughts. First off, I am so glad that Powertec is releasing this product. The belt squat is one of my all-time favorite exercises, and I love that there is no spinal loading. For me, with my lower back issues, that's extremely important. And I can also place all of my focus and emphasis on my quads as opposed to my core and shoulders. So if you're thinking about getting a belt squat, I would say hold off until Powertec releases theirs. I think it's going to be considerably less than the Rhino. It's going to take up less space than the Rhino. And I like that its uprights are stationary. So when I think back to my Rhino, if I was doing exercises like seated rows, I would need to take a strength band and tie it around the upright and that arm that moved in and out of place. With this one, that's not going to be an issue. When I compare the Powertec belt squat to other belt squats on the market, this machine is loaded horizontally, which will make your life a lot easier. There's only a very small cutout for the cable in the platform, which will allow for a variety of stances. I know when I'm doing belt squats, I prefer a narrow stance, much more narrow than I can get on my DIY belt squat. Unlike other belt squats, there will be no upcharge for band pegs. There are 3 different grips for users of different heights and Powertec ships for free. One day I left my wife home alone with the Rhino and she got trapped because there are no additional safety settings beyond the Rhino horn. This will not be an issue on the Powertec belt squat because the user can set the safety pin to their desired depth. When I first walked in, I saw a prototype model very similar to the Rhino beside the one that looks much closer to the model Powertec will release. Here are some additional thoughts on the soon-to-be-released Powertec seated calf raise. First, I am so glad that it has dual handles as opposed to one center post. I always felt a little bit silly on the Xmark Fitness seated calf raise, holding onto that one post and doing calf raises. There is only one vertical weight horn, which requires a little more effort to load and unload. But for something like a seated calf raise, I don't want to dedicate a lot of space to that machine. And when I think back to my Xmark Fitness seated calf raise, it had 2 horizontal posts that were huge, and that machine took up a lot of space. I'm also really glad to see the new seated calf raise has some premium features like a stainless steel weight horn, this yellow stitching on the padding, and this new style adjustment knob. I get asked about the multi-system a lot, so here's what I think. First, it requires little to no maintenance. There are no cables to fray or break because it's a lever-based machine. I'm sure you all have seen on Marketplace some multi-systems that are 20 years old. Secondly, all of the exercises offer a lot of stability and safety because they move on a fixed path. For new lifters, I think that's extremely good because it takes the guesswork out of everything. And for bodybuilding, I prefer machines that follow that fixed path. Next, if you're in a basement or have a low ceiling, the machine is less than 7 feet high. So if you're somewhere where you can't get a power rack, the multi-system may be the best bet. Next up, 3 people could use the multi-system at the same time because there are 3 independent stations. And if you're working out solo and want a superset, that's no issue because no setup is required. So I could go right from bench press to pull down without issue. Now, if I look at the lever squat station and compare it to the lever gym, with the lever gym, I have to move the bench out of the way. I have to put the squat bar on. I have to adjust the lever arms. With the multi-system, I just get in position, pull out the safety pin, and start my squat. There are so many exercises that can be performed on the multi-system: calf raises, Viking presses using the lever squat, plenty of pull down variations, plenty of pressing variations, and if the machine wasn't already versatile enough, there's the utility bench connector, which can accept 6 different plate loaded machines. For me, I would still take the lever gym over the multi-system, but depending on your space, your experience level, and what you want to do, I think the multi-system is definitely something to consider. I never did a review for the Powertec Deluxe Functional Trainer, so I want to cover that now. I really like that there is the option to save money and just go plate loaded, or if you want to spend some extra money and make your life a lot easier, you can get the selectorized stack. And of course, the weight horns and selectorized stack can be used in conjunction with one another. Each cable has a 1-to-1 pulley ratio with a max weight capacity of 500 pounds per cable and a total of 1,000 pounds for the entire machine. Unlike my Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, 2 people can use the machine at the same time because each side works independently of the other. I also really like the stainless steel uprights. I think they make the machine look super sharp. I like the storage area in the back, and I like that it comes with a functional trainer bar so you can connect to the 2 cables and use both sides at once. I also, as I mentioned before, really like the multi-grip pull-up bar. Now that I'm back, I want to provide a backstory for this trip. This nearly happened a year and a half ago, but my wife had back-to-back medical procedures and she needed me home. So when Powertec made this offer again recently, I couldn't pass on this opportunity. I didn't announce this online and I didn't even tell any of my friends. Instead, I spent 14 weeks losing over 20 pounds because I wanted to bring the best look that I've had in a long time to Powertec HQ. I didn't really post any videos over this time. Instead, I just focused on my training and dieting. Before this 14-week challenge, I spent so many months trying to bulk that I actually messed up my health. My blood sugar and blood pressure were above normal and my cholesterol was above 200. So this 14-week challenge gave me the opportunity to really focus on my health, and I went from 180 to 159 pounds, and all of those measurements dropped back down into the normal range. The results that I saw during this 14-week challenge were of course from strength training, but I also added a nightly walk with my wife and we were getting between 5,000 and 8,000 steps an evening. But I also really started controlling my portion sizes and measuring everything out. Towards the end, I was only getting about 1,100 to 1,200 calories a day, and I was having 4 meals a day. And over those 4 meals, I was having 175 grams of protein, 20 to 40 grams of carbohydrate, and about 20 to 50 grams of fat. During this time, I had 5 grams of creatine monohydrate every day, I had 2 to 4 scoops of whey protein every day, and I took a daily multivitamin. For pre-workout, I just mixed beta-alanine, citrulline, and caffeine in water. Once I got to Powertec HQ, I met the team for the very first time in person, and they could not have been any more welcoming or awesome for that matter. I met the president of the company, Scott. I met Rob Riches, who was in charge of sales and marketing, and I met Lewis, who is the technical service manager. All of these guys are just very down to earth, very approachable, and they're just really good people. While I was there, I was interviewed and photographed for the very first time since starting Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. I've been asked by a couple of other channels to come on and have an interview, but I wanted my very first interview to be something special, so I waited for Powertec. While I was there, I was asked why I have stuck with Powertec since 2008, and I really don't have any idea what my answer was because I was a little bit nervous, so I'm going to answer that question again right now. For me, it starts with Powertec's product lineup. I prefer machine-based training, and Powertec has a lot of machines. Also, most of their pieces have a really small footprint while offering a lot of versatility and adjustability. Take the lever gym, for example. I can perform over 100 exercises on that one machine. I also think Powertec has done a really good job of offering quality pieces for a fair price, and most importantly, Powertec's products are effective. As a reviewer, I think I have a pretty unique relationship with Powertec since I have been using their products since 2008. Most of the muscle that I have built and the physique that I have is largely from using Powertec's products. Also, unlike other reviewers, I ended all of my other affiliations with other equipment companies because I wanted to focus solely on Powertec. I was an affiliate for Ironmaster, for Titan, for Rogue, and for Fettle Fitness, and I was making money with those companies. Not enough to quit my full-time job, but enough to pay for my internet, to pay for my website, and to buy additional pieces of equipment because none of those companies ever sent me anything for free. And I walked away from all of those other companies because I don't want to train on anything but Powertec products. That's how much I believe in this brand and the direction they're heading in. And if you make a Powertec purchase, please remember my backstory and consider using my affiliate link. It's the best way to let Powertec know that I'm helpful to their brand. I will always be accessible and available if you have any questions or concerns. And I don't feel the need to have 10 or 20 different equipment company affiliations. I only need one, the brand that's always meant the most to me, the brand that I use day in and day out, Powertec. Lastly, through this amazing opportunity with Powertec, I was able to see the beautiful state of California. I never thought I'd see the Pacific Ocean because I don't like to travel, but my love for Powertec got me on the plane. My wife and I stayed on the Queen Mary, supposedly one of the most 10 haunted places in the US. I didn't see or hear anything, but my wife thinks she did and wouldn't let me sleep on the last night of our trip. I was able to visit the iconic Muscle Beach and saw where some of the all-time greats used to train. During this trip, I took a break from my diet and I had some French fries and some rice and maybe even a piece of bread. But when I got home, I took my blood sugar fasted and it was high again, so it's time to get back to the grind.